Here you go. The time is 3:15 p.m. And this is what was happening on 3:15 p.m. SK, just hold on for a second. I'll get to questions in a bit, guys. Who paid attention to this candle here at 3:10 p.m.? What's happening here on the wicks? Guys, what's happening on the 3:10 candle on wicks? What are we getting? A bounce or a rejection? So this candle moved all the way up to the line first, okay, at 3:10, which is this candle, okay? So we had a wicks bounce all the way up here, right? And then it rejects. And what do we have at 3:15? We have a bounce of the zone. So please pay attention. It's going to show you something. So this was the low, higher low, higher high, higher low. If you pay attention to this bearish impulse, so how do waves move, right? How does price move when it's bearish price action? It's supposed to do this all the way. You can try and get close to this sometimes, even reject, but it should not do this. How many people understand this? Is this a bearish structure, guys? What I just drew, is this bearish or bullish? Everyone? I just want to make sure people are learning while I'm talking. Is this bearish or bullish, people? The structure what I just drew now, like at right this point, right? So you don't want to see a bearish impulse making what? Higher lows. Make sense? Bearish impulse, lower high, no lower low, higher low, higher high, another higher low. So what do you think we're gonna get? If it forms a higher low, Wix rejects from a strong level, what do you think is gonna happen? It's gonna bounce. What are the chances of bouncing? Maybe 80%, but it can bounce, right? And it's bouncing off the freaking zone, which is a strong demand zone. So you take an entry here. And what's your stop loss? Below the zone. This is closer to market, like market close, I mean, about 45 minutes to go. So you wouldn't risk your, let's say that morning I bought $1,000 worth of contracts here. I would only probably put in $200-300 here because it's 40 minutes to expiry. So just being smart about it. If I lose, I'll probably lose like $100, not $1,000. Okay, so let's play this now. So this is 320. This candle finishes at 324. This should be 325. Okay, so rejecting, and this candle rejected too. 9 out of 10 times this goes up, basically. You're just being probabilities, right? I mean, we're not second guessing, we're not predicting, we're not astrologers, we're not market makers, we don't have billions of dollars. We don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. We're just playing probabilities. There's a 80 or 90% chance this is gonna work the way I think it's gonna work. And the second step is, how are you executing trades? Are you emotionally trading because you need some money today, you gotta go buy a car? Or are you trading this as a business? Basically, that's what matters. If you have no pressure behind you in your head, you're clear, you have a clear head, you will see this setup, you'll enter, but let's just say you catch the wick, by the time this goes up, you're out. This is again around $300 to $400 a contract move. But let's say you don't catch the wick, you enter somewhere here, you're still good because your stop loss is below the zone. Okay, so I'm just going to play it. So on the 15 minutes, I would be, again, I know this ended up going, but I just want to make sure you guys know when this goes up, you want to be wary of where it rejected before, as always. So you take profit. I know this ended up going, in hindsight, I can say, yeah, I bought at the zone, sold at the zone. Come on. That's not reality. The reality is when I buy something, I want to take profits along the way, and I want to be wary of the supply zones created by the price action as of today, right? And then if we continue playing it, I think it goes and touches the zone, and that's your last exit. And I think this continues after that as well. It goes like above the zone, I think. And if you were watching Wix, it's all red candles. So price has now okay. So we have low, higher high, higher low. I don't draw higher, I don't call this a higher high because it's a supply zone. It's consolidation. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and so on. Like everything I put in my YouTube videos, it's all the same. I'm just repeating myself. And now on this one, let's test your knowledge. Let's look at 5 minute. Where would you enter this? On which candle to go long again? Let's say you took profit here, hit the zone, right? But let's say someone's over trading. Where would you enter? Would you enter here? Would you enter here? Would you enter here? 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 Where would you enter? I'm going to play the 15 minutes for you. So this time here, it's 4:50. It's after market. Okay, just for the, we're just having this for the sake of conversation, guys. This is not a real trade now because this is after market. Okay, this is just for sake of learning. On the second arrow. So what's the guy's name? Alex Diaz. So what makes you think that you enter here on the second candle, right? And then price doesn't do this. What is the guarantee of that? Alex? Just, I'm not trying to pinpoint anyone, or this is just a conversation, right? So if you enter on this candle at the bounce here, which is testing the previous structure, nothing wrong with that. But what do you think? Do you think this could happen? Because it happened in the morning. I know this is not a zone, it's 4160, right? The same fucking thing happened. So what do you wait for? So yeah, exactly, Alex. So in hindsight, this would have worked. In hindsight, this would have worked. Okay, but let's say the zone wasn't here. How would you enter this, guys? Can I show you how would I enter it if the zone wasn't here? Exactly. Chico Bravo got it. But I'm gonna show you, let's say the zone wasn't here. We're now using the zones, right? So put a line here at the body close of these candles. Okay. This candle here is the first candle that's bouncing off here at 405. We don't have Wix data after 405, so forget Wix for now. This is the first candle, so this is your aggressive entry, but my entry would be here. We closed above it, of all the jazz. This structure, we broke it, we closed above it. No, Alex, it's not about better approach or anything. It's all about execution, right? So we just got to get our execution right. There's no point in me teaching hours and hours of content to people if you guys don't execute it right? Because I'm not here every day, and I'm not gonna even if we run this group for 6 months or a year or a couple of years, I'm not gonna be here for life, right? What happens when Jazzy leaves? Well, let's say you go follow some other furu, and you make like $200,000 in a year. What happens next year? Yeah, I'm gonna get to that stocks. So it's about being self-sufficient, basically. You gotta understand the structures, how things move. That's what it's about. It's about learning. It's not about predicting what's going to happen next. Like, do you make money off that? You know who makes money of predicting moves, right? Whoever you're paying the fees to, they're making money. That's it. Okay. What's on the agenda again? Code strategy done. I did trade reviews of Friday. Hopefully it makes sense how I trade to people. Now let's talk about zone. Oh, I deleted a zone, right? Yeah, I want the same freaking zone. Okay. I'm gonna kill the replay mode. I'm gonna go to a clean chart here. I'm gonna go weekly. Okay. All right, guys. This is on my YouTube as well, and I'm gonna go through it again. Please pay attention. Everyone who's been asking. First, before stocks, before we move to zones, we're gonna learn how to identify trends. Okay. So I'm gonna ask you questions. Please, I need some engagement from you guys. The more you engage, the more you'll learn. What is the trend right now in weekly, guys? Are we bullish or bearish? Everyone, 30 people in here. So if I start from here, I'm gonna start from here because, okay, from this point in August. You know what? I'll try in a clean chart because I don't want to delete my zones. Okay, here. Let's do it here. What the hell is this? Oh yeah, this one. Okay. So here, I'm gonna start from here, okay? Lower high. So this is a lower high. See that? Lower low, lower high, lower low. So because we're in weekly, I might call it a lower I might call it a higher high, but remember in consolidate when it's consolidating, I don't really mark it as a point, but just for the sake of exercise, right? We did not, if you pay attention now, so zooming in, we did not close above this level here. Okay, so this is the new lower high now. We did not close above this level. This is the new lower high. So it's actually not. I just don't like these consolidations. I'm not gonna call that. Okay, so let's do it again. Forget the consolidations. So I'll mark everything and then we'll discuss it. Okay. These are the waves. And we skip the consolidations and we're weekly, right? So if this was a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, we broke above this previous lower high. So we became bullish here for the time being on August 2022. Okay. And then we closed above the previous lower low. Sorry, not above, below. We closed below the previous lower low. Okay. Now, so that means we became bearish again. Then we formed another lower high and lower low. And this now is a higher high. I don't want to, I just can't believe my eyes. That's why I paused there. So this was getting really technical here, guys. So if this was the lower high and this is the lower low, we've not closed above it or below it, right? So that means we're bearish on the weekly at least, just for that reason. If this was, I'm going to repeat myself, just on the weekly, if this was the lower high and this is the lower low, we have not closed above it to be bullish, right? So that means we're still bearish. That's what the weekly is. Okay. I know I was gonna call it bullish too, but that's the truth of it. Now daily might be different. Okay, so let's start here. We have this close below this lower low here. So this was bearish here. So let's say we have, we'll start from around here. Higher high. This is a higher high because it closed above this. Higher high, higher low. Consolidation, skip the consolidation. Higher high, higher low, higher high. And then in this picture now, what's the previous higher low? Here. We closed below it. Lower low, lower high, all consolidation. Lower low. If we close above 4020, we become bullish again. So this is the bullish move. So this here, closing above the previous lower high, we became bullish here on the daily. And then since then, we have, oh shit, we closed below that again. Okay, let's do it again. I'm doing this, guys, because you can do that on the lower, you can do exactly this on the lower time frames, and this will help you. So we were bullish here, and then we closed below the previous low here, so we became bearish again. So this is your previous high to be broken. And then here we became bullish again. So this closed above this, meaning we're bullish on the daily. Okay, and so on. So this is how you identify trends. So we'll just get to the 1 hour now. Okay. 1 hour is always tricky because it's going to change every day, whether it's bullish or bearish. But what matters is when you come in the morning at 9 o'clock, right? You want to know whether you're bullish or bearish, basically. Okay. So that's how you identify trends. Before I move to zones, any questions about that? Just to identify trends. So I do that every morning, guys. So when I come here, this is my real layout. I actually come in the morning, and the first thing I open up is the 4 hours chart, like this. So remember that day when on Friday, I think, yeah, Friday, this huge candle rejected and I was still bullish. How many people thought we were bullish on Friday, even after the drop? I want to see some yeses and nos. And I'll show you why. This is the reason I talk about identifying trend. Okay. iPhone knew. Anyone else knew that even after the huge ass drop on Friday, how many people were still bullish? And I'll tell you how I know that. Anyone else apart from the iPhone guy? No? Okay. So it's the same logic what I just went through. So in this wave here, you guys see we're making higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high, consolidation, higher high, higher high. When we came down, We did not close below the previous low on the 4-hour, so we're still bullish. And reason number one, that was reason number one. What's the reason number two? Every time you see a base forming, people call it cup and handle. I also call it a base. I learned it from a guy named JC Peretz. He's really good. He's on Twitter. Okay. So he talks about bases a lot. That's his strategy. Anyways, base. I saw a base forming here. So we had a bearish move, consolidation, and we started forming higher lows. So I kind of knew that even after this huge drop, we were still bullish on the longer term. Like not longer term, medium term. So that's the reason it's very important to identify trends, to know where we are in the market or on the chart. Okay. Moving to zones now. So how I draw zones is this, guys. So let's go. Let's see what I see on 8 hours. All I do is the zones are simply supply and demand zones. Okay. I'm just looking for maximum number of taps, bounces, and rejections in one particular area on the chart. And I draw a box or a line on it. Usually, mostly I draw boxes. I don't know why this is a line. It should just be a zone. But sometimes I draw lines as well for local areas, local zones. So 4160. I'm just looking on the left here. I wasn't paying attention here. I was paying attention here. So I'm going to repeat myself. I'm looking for on daily 8 hours and 4 hours, mostly just daily and 4 hours, I'm looking for an area where the price is rejecting for the last couple of months or weeks, multiple times, typically more than 4 or 5 times. And then I draw a box on there to see if in present price will react to it. That's it. That's what the zones are. It's very simple. Okay. I know it sounds so simple, but it's not magic that the price reacts to it. Because why? Because people actually at these supply and demand zones, they buy and they sell. And that's the reason price reacts to it. Okay. So let's take an example. This is a consolidation area, but let's look for, so for example, price rejecting at 4160 on Friday was not magic. All it was, if you count the number of taps from February in 4160 area, look at the amount of rejections. So all these candles, all of them rejected here. Another rejection. So count these as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is this 4160? No. No. And that 13. So basically, it was a high probability that I'll reject from it, right? And yeah, people take puts off that, but because I was bullish, I wasn't able to take puts. Now let's look for another zone. Or let's just draw new ones. So you guys get it. Okay. First of all, your chart shouldn't look like this when drawing zones. iPhone, I'll cover that after. Your chart should look like this. You should be able to see all the candles you're trying to see. Okay. Okay, now, do we have any bounces here on the daily? Let's look for like a really, really visible and clear zone that the price will definitely bounce or reject from. This one, I like this one. You guys see that? See the dotted line, how I'm moving it? How many bounces you see of that or rejections? Like so many of those, right? a low A. Okay. So zone number 1. So I do on daily and then I switch to 4-hour to cover what I can see on daily. Okay, now live market, look where price is rejecting from. Maximum 5 points, Andrew. Maximum. Sometimes on daily, when I draw them, they end up coming like 7, 8 points. Then I'll go on 4 hours and I'll reduce the size of the box because I'll miss the move otherwise, right? So now look at this. Bounce 1, bounce 2, bounce 3, multiple bounces, multiple rejections. Actually, 1 rejection, multiple bounces. We'll draw a zone on top of this too when we get to 4 hours and 1 hour. And then huge rejection, huge rejection, 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 rejection. That's it. And I continue doing that. So let's say we cover this area for now. Let's say where is it bouncing at now? So this dotted line, I see, so see this wicks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're gonna start here. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's multiple here. There you go. So on this one, I see 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rejection here. Another, try to fake out and rejected. Another one, bounce, rejection, and then bouncing, right? And that's it. And you continue doing that. And then you switch to 4 hours. Right now, let's say this here is 41, 40. So see how this is like 10 points. So on 1 hour, it's gonna look like huge. Okay, so let's first draw something in the middle. And this is like the middle line, and it's, but this time, what I also do is I pay attention to in the recent memory, in the last week, where is price reacting from? So I have to cover this basically. Not the wick, even just the body. So yeah, so just the bodies. Right, so this is an important zone for me because this is a very important zone for me actually. This is the fucking zone. Why? Because when price goes above it, it holds, goes to next zone. When price rejects from it, we will see this rejection on lower time frames. It stays below, it goes to the next zone. It's very hard for it to break it, very hard for it to break it. Once it breaks it, it goes to the next zone and so on. Tested this, went to the next zone, right? You know, basically on next week, if price actually stays in here and just does this, I'm not saying it's going to do that. I'm just saying how much money you can make. Yeah. But it doesn't really, that's not how market moves. But I'm just saying, right? So that's about zones, guys. Basically, it's very, very simple. There's no rocket science to it. I have no magic wand where I can show you, yeah, you know, this zone's gonna hit. It's not like that. All it is supply and demand. You got to understand structures, identify them. Why was Jazzy bullish still after such a big drop? Just went over that. If you identify structures, you identify trends, you know where you are in the chart, you know what your supply and demand levels are. You just have the basic knowledge of how the price could move. right? Now, oh, these fucking carry over, motherfucker. I'm in a different layout. Why does it do that? Maybe there's a setting where. But anyways, guys, this is how you draw zones. Now, what's the plan this week? What time? 8:56. We have about 5 minutes, so let's just do this and we'll end it here. If you have any questions, please start typing, and before I go, I'll answer them. So what's the plan this week? So 4 hours is bullish. It's kind of doing this cup and handle thing. It made a cup. It's a huge as handle. It's still forming her. It still formed a higher low. But for me to be bullish, like absolutely bullish will be above 4,200. But you know, it might do something like this. Test the previous structure. Every time I do this arrow, it's not just I'm putting it randomly. It's like it's testing the previous structure. And so on, right? So this would be my bullish plan to enter long here if the VIX cooperates with us. So let's say we're trying to buy the bounce of the zone, just like Friday morning. Friday morning was the same thing. Let me go 1 hour so you guys see it. See that? Same thing. And then we'll need cooperation from VIX, right? So that would be that. But the risk is we are still on the 1 hour in the lower high territory. You guys see what I mean? On the 1 hour, the risk is because this was a higher high on 1 hour. Yeah. And we are bearish on the 1 hour right now. How many people understand we're bearish on the 1 hour right now? If you followed through what I taught today, you would see why are we bearish on the 1 hour right now. How many people understand? Out of the 28 people, I need to see at least 10 people saying yes or no. Come on, show me some engagement. How many people understand we're bearish on the 1 hour? If you don't, I'll go over it. Exactly. So you had a higher low, higher high, consolidation, made a higher low, higher high, and boom down. We're bearish because it closed below the previous higher low. Okay, now it has not closed above the high, so we're still bearish. Okay, so when I do try to enter long here, back of my mind, I'm going to be wary of the fact that we're bearish on the 1 hour. I'm going to have this doubt basically, so I might not enter. That's what that means. Okay, and then but if I get cooperation from VIX, which is actually really close to this 1710 level here. Do you guys remember on Friday morning when we took the trade, I told everyone we'll hit 1710 because it's not rocket science. It's not magic. Because why? Because last time VIX bounced from 1710. Yeah, 1707, same shit, right? So now another second worry would be going into tomorrow morning, what if fucking VIX does this? Right? So I think I'm not sure if there's any data or anything tomorrow, but really bullish plan would be above 4160. It'll be like a safer play, safer calls play above 4160, in my opinion. But let's say we can break it and we form a lower high. So let's say we do second scenario, and third scenario would be this one. So I just don't draw them for fun. they have meaning to it. So this is the top one is your call setup, right? This one basically means we rejected off the zone and we formed a lower high. Let's say it goes up here. We formed a lower high. This is a lower high too, but this is a lower high. You take it down and then it bounces, but it's not able, bulls don't come in and join, it drops. This will be more like this. You'll be able to enter this one easily. Anyways, if you have any questions, I will answer them before going. That's it for today, guys. We covered the zones. We covered how to identify trends. We covered the curl strategy. Talked about market psychology a little bit. How big an effect will earnings have this week? Yeah, is it a huge earnings week, guys? Someone posted the calendar. I still need to check it out. Oh fuck, it's a huge earnings week. Is it Netflix, IBM? It does have a really good, really important effect, if that's what you're asking. What's the guy's name? Yeah, fucking Tesla as well. Is it like is it that month where all the tech companies do earnings? Is it that month? Because they all come together, right? TSMC, this is that semiconductor company, I think. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I was just looking at Discord. Yeah, no problem, guys. Earnings cal. Yeah, I have the earnings calendar. I would just, yeah, of course, definitely earnings impact markets, but I just trade price action. But yeah, just don't pay attention to uh, earnings because we're playing after earnings are released or before the data is released, right? So I mean, the move already happens in the first candle, and if you notice, I don't play the first candle. So yeah. Earnings are good, man. They'll actually form a trend, bullish or bearish, and we just ride the third wave. All right, guys. Any more questions before I hang up? Have a great evening, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.